Welcome to the Soulful Soundtrack of Life. I'm your host, full of sunshine, Dayna Soul, and I'm here to celebrate the symphony of life. Each episode, I interview people from every corner of the globe who I've met along my journey as a DJ. Together, we explore the songs that are connected to their stories, experiences, and rhythms that have created their own soundtrack of life. So tune in, turn up the volume, and let the beats of life guide you. This is the Soulful Soundtrack of Life. Hi, beautiful, shiny people. Welcome back to the Soulful Soundtrack of Life, where we dive deep into music, stories, and vibes that move our minds, bodies, and spirits. I am your host, Dayna Soul, full of shine and all-around lover of sparkly things and soulful soundscapes. Well, today's guest is the ridiculously talented Jesse Cale. Jesse is a multi-artist from Columbus, Ohio, a poet, composer, hip-hop producer with 2 RIAA certified gold records, and the visionary behind Home, an immersive sound bath experience which hosted one of the world's largest sound baths. Trust me, this guy's journey is as rich and layered as a perfectly crafted beat. And in this convo, we talk about everything from his childhood in a strict Christian home, where synths became his secret language, to how music became his medicine, helping him get sober, lose weight, and find his purpose. Plus, we get into sound healing, creative wellness, and even a surprise role Justin Bieber played in Jesse's transformation. And yes, there's a little nostalgic jam session sprinkled in there too. So grab your headphones, a warm cup of tea, breathe deep, and let this one wash over you. Well, happy sunshiny day, Jesse. Welcome to the Soulful Soundtrack podcast. I am so excited to have you on here today. How are you doing on this beautiful sunshiny day here in Columbus?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be on here. I love getting to talk about music. It is quite literally what I have just poured all of my heart and life into. So to get on here and share with you and talk with somebody who's also an avid music lover.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I would love to start the interview talking a little bit about what you do, because a lot of people, are not familiar with sound baths and what they do. So as a founder of a really successful Om Sound and Meditation, now you host so many events around the city. And of course, I just found out pre-interview that you also are now traveling, being a sound bath facilitator as well in other locations. So tell us and tell the listeners, I should say, and explain what exactly is a sound bath and the purpose of it, and what could one expect from the whole experience of a sound bath when they attend.
Yeah, absolutely. Sound baths they're like a full body listening experience. And you usually show up with something like a yoga mat. People bring blankets and pillows, and oftentimes will come into the room and lie down, and you let yourself be bathed in sound. And it's very almost metaphorical, I see it as a metaphor similar to when you bathe at home and you're washing off everything that's stuck to you, everything that's clung to you just through your day and just through your life. A sound bath is an opportunity to do that, to reset, to kind of let go of things that are hanging on to you emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically, spiritually. And that's kind of the fun part, is it can meet you in all these spaces. We do it for mental and emotional regulation. We do it for sports recovery. We do it for some people use it as a space for meditation and prayer. Some people just come and fall asleep. But it's essentially, people come in, they lie down on these yoga mats, and a lot of sound baths that you will find will be using an instrument called the crystal singing bowl. And those are a very melodic instrument. They're very tonal. And me coming from a music and composition background, I started adding in lots of musical elements. So I'll play piano over it. We'll bring in singers. We'll have violin, cello, sitar, saxophone, harp. We really get into it. But that being said, it's a sound bath, not a music sound bath. So we add all these sounds around it. So we'll have crickets, then we'll go into ocean atmospheres, and then piano in with the ocean. We get really, we get into a mode of storytelling with it, but it's a great experience that can meet so many people in different ways. And it's at the fundamental level, it's very relaxing and very restorative. It's really nice.
Yeah. And you've built a whole community too around it. Right. And so that's why I love about it as well. I remember my first sound bath with you. I believe that was back at the old location at Gravity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had that whole, and I just, I'd heard, I can't remember if I had been to one sound bath before I experienced yours, but I remember feeling like walking in to the room and just being, it was so many different visual and sound stimulation, so to speak. Just there was the lighting and the visual effects, and as you mentioned, all the different musical instruments, and experiencing that was just so magical to me. And I remember feeling, wow, this is an incredible experience.
Thank you so much. We really, I mean, I pour my heart like
oh my gosh.
much into it, because it's for me, it's also more than just music. It's atmosphere, it's environment, it's a language, it's experience. So yeah, I put those spaces there.
And even in the space too, you set up all the different, pre-sound bath ritual, where you have like the station where you can energize your crystals, or you have tarot reading. Then you have the kava, the sampling of the kava, which is great from, is it Conscious Seed? Yeah.
Yeah. From Conscious Seed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love having those stations set up, because I mean, there's something to meet people in a lot of different places, because I mean, crystals aren't everybody's thing. Tarot cards aren't everybody's thing, but we also have like the cookie fortunes. We have a wishing well, we've got a traditional kind of prayer candle little station that you would find almost in a Catholic church. And so it's just like all these little opportunities to kind of call people into a space of almost like reverence or connection or openness, if that's their intention. So
yeah, absolutely. What would you say is one of the most common feedback that you get from someone who is experiencing a sound bath for the first time afterwards? Like if somebody were to come up to you.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny, because a lot of times when it's people's first sound bath, and it really depends on the environment. When we do corporate stuff, people always come in joking about like, should I have brought a bathing suit? Just like stuff like that. But then in the environments where there's, I guess, environments where we come to them, then there's environments where they come to us.
Yeah.
The feedback afterwards is always pretty similar, which is just like, wow, I didn't know I needed that,
Oh, okay.
And a big part of that is because we don't have a lot of opportunities to slow down. We don't have a culture that celebrates rest. And for us, like time off, quote unquote, still comes with Netflix and a cell phone, and it's like, that's your body maybe standing still, but your brain is still churning and going. And that also takes so much energy.
It does.
You're just like, oh, I don't feel rested after laying down for 2 hours. It's like, yeah, because you're on your phone,
Oh, it's so true. Yeah. I know that's definitely a highlight about the whole experience, is just unplugging, turning off your phone, not staring at a screen, and just, being with yourself and your subconscious mind, and allowing whatever to happen happens. Like you said, some people sleep. I definitely have had some, what I would call, quote, out of body experiences during sound baths, or sometimes I don't at all. It's so different. Every experience is very different every time I go to a sound bath, which is what I love about it. You just really never know. It's like an adventure every time with your mind and body. Yeah. And be able to connect with it on a deeper level, and in a room, with other people as well, as a community too. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of friendships have been made too after all of these.
Specifically home, our sound bath kind of group, there's a lot of different ways we refer to it, the space we create and all of that. It has just become such a wonderful, place that kind of pulls in like-minded people, and so many communities have like spun off from it, or connections have been made that have turned into business or relationships, or close friendships. It's really, really special that me getting to play on my playground also gets to create an environment where that takes place. I love that so much.
Yeah. It's such a special experience and rewarding, I'm sure, to see that come to life and continue and be successful as well. And speaking of success, you've also have orchestrated like one of the world's largest sound baths as well, Was the first year you did that, was that in 22 or 2023?
23,
And
yeah.
you've continued. Yeah. Yeah. So just give us a little insight into that. How many people attended and how many facilitators did you have and other artists and musicians participating?
Yeah.
And I believe it was at the lowerfield.com, right? Was it the lower
It
field
was
or the
Columbus
lower?
Commons. It was originally at
Columbus Commons. Oh,
lower.com.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we pivoted last minute from the soccer stadium over to the Columbus Commons. Um,
That's a great space for it.
it ended up just being absolutely perfect. And we
I
had,
know. So bummed I couldn't go.
oh no, you'll have to come this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had 55, I think it was like 55 bowl players and 63, 64 total. So 55 bowl players, and then we had a
Oh my
band
gosh.
of like 8 people. It was incredible. We had, yeah, sitar, electric guitar. We had a trio of vocalists. We had cello, we had violin, saxophone, sitar. Did I already say that? I was on
Yeah. Yeah.
piano.
Sitar. That's, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just incredible. We had over 900 people in attendance. It was special.
Wow, that's incredible. What would you say was, going through your mind, during all of that? And or any moment of, did you have like a moment of stillness? Like, was there a word, a feeling, an emotion that just stayed with you the entire time as you're looking out into the sea of 900 people?
It was so, I mean, I had been working so hard on putting that event together for 9 months because there's never been anything
Oh,
like it. So I just from January, the event was in September. In January, I pictured a moment of just like being in a field
mm,
with a singing bowl set. And we do this thing at the beginning of our sound baths where we start all hitting our bowls, in like certain patterns or in just a chord structure. So it's still kind of harmonic.
hmm.
And I just imagined, I was like, this would be, I cannot wait for the moment that I hear this with like, a ton of singing bowl sets everywhere. And you just hear these
Yeah.
chiming sounds everywhere. And so starting the sound bath with that, I was just like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. It was so, the
It's
sound of it
real.
was unbelievable. It was real. It was indescribable. So I don't have a word for it.
There it is. It's indescribable, like you said, or surreal, that moment. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So, one other question I wanted to ask before we dive into your soulful soundtrack of life was, because you have such a very diverse background professionally as a music producer and composer
Mhm.
since the age of 20, I read,
Mhm.
and that you went from producing, music with hip hop specifically, right?
There was a
And
lot of stuff. A lot of the awards I received came through hip hop. Yes.
okay. Yeah, that's it. And then so now you're composing these immersive sound bath
Mhm.
experience reaching all types of audience. I'm just so curious, like what's a sound, since this is about music and sound, or instrument that has surprised you like in its power to heal specifically?
Oh my
Yeah. And
God.
not maybe just for yourself, but for others. Yeah.
That is a great, 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 great question. Oh my gosh. I'm like running through just so many things in my head right now. You know, okay, so this is actually a big one. It's a lot of woodwinds and reed instruments.
Woodwinds. Okay.
Like when I was younger, I didn't quite have an ear for appreciating like a flute or an oboe or
Mm.
something in that category. And just in the past few years, they've become some of my favorite instruments. Just because you can just understanding just the breath behind it, how much life is in that breath, and
True.
oh my gosh, the timbre and sound of so many of those instruments are just they're complex and they're beautiful and they're airy and um,
Mm.
I've just fallen so much more and more and more in love with those over the last few years.
That's a great description of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh gosh. Okay. So let's dive into the soundtrack now. So thank you so much for sharing us and giving some inside scoop as to what a sound bath is. So everyone, I'm sure now is going to go look up a local sound bath in their area and go check it
Great.
out. So, which they should. If you live here in Columbus, you'll definitely, I'll of course include in the show notes how to find Ohm and where you host all of your events. So you do them every month. Full moon, new moon, and on top of that, other special events, which I've seen so many different ones coming up. So super excited. But we'll let everybody go find that out online. So, all right. So this is going to be talking about your personal music soundtrack of your life.
Mhm.
Currently, right now, I'd like to always kick off this part of the interview is asking, is there one particular song that you are currently listening to right now that you're really vibing with?
Oh my
Whether
gosh.
it's a new or older song that you're just forgot about and now it's back in your rotation.
So there is one that is like very, very recent. And it is by a band called Night Tapes.
Okay.
And it is called Baby Girl, like no one else. And it's got this amazing late 90s, early 2000s feel. It sounds like
Oh.
Portishead kind of sneaker pimps vibe.
Oh,
And like
okay.
one of my favorite genres, like, kind of around that, when there was all the DJs doing a lot of stuff. You got Fatboy Slim, DJ Shadow, Chemical Brothers, all doing
Yeah.
stuff kind of in that era. This is a new song that just came out, I think a few months ago, and it just captures that vibe
Okay,
so
I have to play a snippet of this
yeah,
song because
yeah.
that. So you said Night Tales, and what was the name?
Night Tapes.
Oh, Night Tapes. Okay.
Yeah, Night Tapes, and the song's called Baby Girl, and then in parentheses, like no one else. Oh my gosh. The moment it came on, because I love Night Tapes already. And when I heard that song, I was like, okay, they're doing it. I had a feeling this genre was going to make a comeback, and I've just been hearing it more and more and more lately. Ah,
Ah, ooh,
energy.
yeah.
Always just changing subtly a little bit.
Yes.
Playing on the beat. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, yeah. Got the
Well, I'm
very
glad we
airy
looked that up.
York esque vocal, So
Hmm.
cool.
So
They
cool.
are great. They are great. So
Okay, so the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. This is the year that you were born. So we're going to kick off your soundtrack of life with that. This year
yes.
that you were born.
I feel like
And it is none other than, get ready. Do you recognize that intro?
not yet.
Hold on, hold on. It has this long intro, but there we go with the snapping. Iconic female artist from the 90s.
Yeah. It's Madonna, right?
Yeah.
Vogue.
Vogue. Yeah.
Calling me in.
Madonna Vogue was the number one song the year you were born on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. So that's kicking off your soundtrack of life there.
That's so fun.
You like Madonna?
Well, I wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of music growing up. I was homeschooled in
Okay.
a Christian home. So that's actually one of the reasons why I got so into techno when I was really little. Like there's no
Oh,
lyrics. I listened to a lot of electronic music. I mean, that was what I
really?
grew up into.
And where
Yeah.
did you grow up?
I grew up here in Columbus.
You did. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was so difficult for me to find new electronic music because there was
Yeah.
no internet yet. Or at least it was
Yeah.
preliminary by the time I was, 10. So going to CD stores or record stores, or do you remember was it Media Play? Um, Anyways, and just finding the one sleeve of either world music or electronic music and looking for the largest compilation album I could find of trance or techno or house, and just being like, okay, I want this one so I could hear as many new artists as possible.
Yeah.
I
Oh
was
my
like
gosh.
7, 8, 9 doing that. So funny.
Well, I remember, so I didn't grow up here in Columbus, but actually in the 90s, like the first part of the 90s, at least, I actually lived overseas.
Oh,
So I
wow.
lived in Philippines for a couple years, and then Germany, which obviously Germany, huge, techno rave scene. So that's when I was introduced as well to that genre of music and loved it.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Oh, so jealous.
I remember going to some, what I called them German raves, in the field, cornfields out in the middle of nowhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I've heard so many stories of field raves.
Yeah. So that brought me back to this. Okay. So that makes sense. And so the next song, I asked you about a song from a childhood memory, like the first song that came to you that you remember listening that brings back the most nostalgic memory that stirs some, good emotion here. So it's Mono Synth by Joy Electric. And I had not heard this before. So I'll play a little bit snippet now.
Great.
Love it.
Yes. So,
all right. So tell us about that song and the memory.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I was just saying, I listened to a ton of electronic music when I was little, and a lot of it was partially from my dad would play me a lot of prog rock. And a lot of prog bands, they had an organ player, and they usually also had a synth player. And I would always, in the moments of the synthesizer, I would be like, that sound, like my body would just light up. It was like I was being electrocuted. And then he got me into Kraftwerk and Tomita, Kraftwerk, very famous 4-piece German. They're kind of the founders of electronic music. And then Tomita was a Japanese composer who used a lot of analog synthesizer components to do things like recreate orchestras or make songs based on stars or planets. Really, really, really cool. And then finally, there was a Christian radio station here in town, Radio U 88.7. They're still around. And they, we could put it on because we listened to Christian music growing up. And then this song came on, and it was the first time I had heard all analog synthesizers at the same time, putting together the entire piece of music and it being more of a pop piece. And I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, this is the most incredible, overwhelming thing I've ever heard in my life. And I started piano shortly after that so I could grow up and play synthesizers.
Wow.
And this artist, Joy Electric, I heard this when I was 6 years old. I started piano shortly after, and 10 years later, he emailed me and asked me to open for him.
What?
And it was such a full circle unbelievable event. It was incredible.
Oh my gosh, how was that? Where did you go open up for him?
He ran an analog electronic synth kind of. It wasn't all analog, but a lot of analog synthesizer music festival in Wilmington, Ohio, of all places. It was really fascinating. Yeah. And I was doing a lot of electronic music and was pretty high up in the MySpace charts for electronic music.
Oh, okay.
And, I think a friend of mine reached out to him and was like, hey, this guy, he's your biggest fan. You inspired him. He's been doing this for, years and years and years because of you. And then he reached out. So that was really special.
Wow. Yeah. That's a huge highlight moment of your life, I bet.
Oh, totally. That song changed my life for sure.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a great story.
That album. Oh. So good.
All right. So moving through your childhood into your teenage years, college years, I kind of asked you to pick a song that represented, either of those years, whether it was teenage or college years, that defined a moment that made a big impact for you during your life. Absolutely. So I will let you tell everybody what the title of this song is, and an artist, because I am not even going to try to attempt to pronounce it.
Absolutely. As we say here in Ohio, this is Sigur Rós, and this is Sterile Fur.
Okay.
They're Icelandic.
Sigur Rós. Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it with the native tongue, but yeah, let's go ahead and listen to it.
Okay, let's listen to it. So was this song memorable in your teenage or college years?
This was both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So similar to the way that when I first heard Joy Electric, I was like, wow, this is what I want to do with my life. The first time I heard Sigur Rós, I said, wow, this is what I want to do with my life. And if it wasn't for Sigur Rós, the artist, the band, I would not be doing sound baths today. Absolutely. I mean, you can
Really?
take that also back to Joy Electric, but hearing this is a genre of music that's been coined as post rock, and they are some of the like pioneers of it. And it is so ethereal and gorgeous and dramatic and moody and atmospheric. I mean, you could just
Mhm.
go into it is so deep on an emotional level. And just listening to some of their music, I picked this song because it's very beautiful and easy to
Mhm.
so a lot of them are very long and drawn out. This one is too. Um, but just they represent such a major exposure in my life to just saying, wow, I want to make art like this. And I actually started a band with a friend of mine when I was 18 that sounded similar to Sigur Rós. And we were a band for 7 years, 8 years, a few albums.
Oh,
And
wow.
we just, oh my gosh, we really wanted to create music that created a space for people similar to like I do with Soundbaths. We were like, this is for sleep. This is for meditation. This
Mhm.
is for driving and crying. This is for studying, this is for love making, like whatever, It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
um, yeah. So this was a major, major pivot in my, expression, I guess, was being introduced to this
Okay.
artist. And actually went to Iceland when I was 18 to perform with my band at the time. We were called Fantastic. We were like a little electronic duo. And it was so funny. On my way there, I prayed. I was like, I want to see Sigur Rós and Bjork when I get there, just run into them on the street. And we landed. And long story short, Sigur Rós and Bjork just happened to be playing a free concert together that weekend, and we got to go. So it was
Oh my
unbelievable.
gosh.
So, so cool.
Wow, that's awesome. That's another great story.
Yeah,
So you went, yeah. So your first band, you said was like a duo or the group. So you did more, yeah, electronic music
yeah. Yeah.
before
So
hip hop.
I,
This is like before the hip hop days. And
yeah, when I say
oh,
hip hop, I mean electronic and hip hop
oh, okay, okay.
eventually
Hip hop.
kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. They
intertwined.
intertwined.
Which it was so funny. I mean, yeah,
Oh
never
my
mind.
gosh.
Whole other story. But I started recording music when I was about 10.
Okay.
I got my first recording software and got, had a little keyboard, a microKORG synthesizer. And by when I was 11, I started going to school and I showed up with like a tape of dubbed music. And I remember like just running around trying to get people to listen to my music.
Mhm.
Like in sixth grade. People were like, you make music? I was like, you don't? Like, come on. It's fun.
They're like, you're weird. I'm not, yeah.
It was so funny. Yeah. But yeah, so I made electronic music primarily as a solo artist and then started a duo and then started that band. So,
Wow. Yes. What a journey.
mhm.
When you said real quick, going back to the Iceland experience, Bjork, I remember now. Oh my God. I used to listen to her too back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
got a
yeah.
few of her albums. Yeah. On
Bitch.
CD. Those were the day. Yeah. I think those were the years I was in Germany and then moved back. Yeah. So
Awesome. She's so
that
great.
just, yeah, she is. She's so good. I know. She's not doing anything anymore, though. I mean, at least I haven't heard. Is she?
She just put out a film.
Oh, okay.
She's doing tons and tons and tons. She was such an important archetype for um the offbeat, kind of strange, eccentric quality of art that needed representation. I'm so
Mhm.
grateful for her existence. I feel
Yeah.
like David Bowie was obviously one of those catalysts, and you just have all these people that kind of make their resurgence to kind of be a mirror to people and be like, it's okay to be weird, and she was such an important part of that.
I love that. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, she was for sure. Oh my gosh. All right. So moving from your, post teenage college years into your adult life where, we face all of the waves that life will throw at us, that we have to ride these waves, the highs and the lows. Music is obviously a huge part of all of our lives to help get through those challenging moments. So you picked a song, which I love this song.
I figured you would know it. It's got over 1 billion streams. It's everybody
Oh my
knows this
gosh.
song.
So I'll play a little snippet of it. Where are you now?
Mhm.
And then I would love to hear, a particular challenge that you've faced that this has helped you through
Absolutely.
in the beginning. I love listening to this or playing when I DJ.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, club with
I love Bieber.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the drop. I love this part. Yes. So what instrument then did they use to create that sound?
That's a vocal. That's a voice.
Oh, it is?
You can tell from the vibrato and the timbre. Yeah.
Oh.
It's Justin Bieber's voice. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh, that's a sample of Justin Bieber's voice.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
there's sometimes in those songs when I hear something like that, for example, I just don't know enough about musical instruments to know what's making that sound. And I always am so curious to know. So I should just ask you, just call you up.
Friends used to do that. I'm not kidding.
Really?
My friends used to call me. Yeah. Cause I used to have to replicate a lot of sounds for, when I was producing in my early 20s. I worked with a bunch of YouTubers that did covers and stuff. So I got really into sound design and understanding the components of what made a sound. So people would send me clippets and be like, hey man, I need this sound. How do I do it? And I would be like,
okay.
Put these together. Super funny, super fun. I can't do that anymore. But
okay. So this song, tell me about this song, when you first heard it and how it has helped you through overcome those challenges at life.
Absolutely. It's funny because I was going to pick any other song from this album, but I was like, I have to pick this song because this is the one that everybody knows. So this album, it's Jack U, which is Skrillex and Diplo, both prolific producers with just a long history of music and success in that. And then obviously Justin Bieber on here, this album came out, I think it was in 2015, and I freaked out. I loved it. I like electronic music is just like I was saying from the beginning, it's just my favorite thing. It touches me in a way that nothing else in my life has. And this album had so many new styles, production elements. It brought genres that were popular in the underground kind of to the forefront, and just things with the creativity between Skrillex's sound design and Diplo's percussion and kind of pop sensibility, that Skrillex also has. I could talk about them forever as producers. But I was an alcoholic when this album came out, and I was obsessed with this album. And I got sober a few months after it came out, and I created an exercise routine to this entire album. And this album helped me not only get sober, but also 50 pounds. This album means so much to me.
Wow. You said it helped to both get sober and lose? You said 15 pounds?
50.
50? 50?
50, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Every time this album first comes out, it starts off with this song that just starts with a clap, so it's just like, every time I hear that, I just picture myself on an elliptical, like, all right, let's go.
Let's do this. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Very, very powerful record in my life. It really, because it gave me so much excitement when I was working out and exercising. I was just like, oh my God, I could listen to this album forever. And it just fueled me, it kept me there.
Yeah. Oh, and do you still listen to it on your running?
You know what? I don't know if I have any songs from it still on rotation. I definitely have some remixes from it. There have been so many.
Oh my gosh, so many remixes.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this album, again, it's like I'm picking these songs that represent the artist, but Joy Electric, Sigur Rós, and Jack U, but also Skrillex and Diplo individually have all been major influences in my life.
Yeah. Well, and I can imagine too, this song or that whole album, we'll say Jack U, that could be even a celebratory anthem for you as well, because of what you achieved, listening to it.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When I hear it, it reminds me of just that period of my life.
Where you came from.
So special. Such a powerful time.
Yeah, that's a great story. Wow. That's amazing. And yes, and congratulations too on that, like losing the weight and becoming sober.
Thank you. It hasn't been perfect, but it
never is, that journey. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, okay. Well, we were just talking about, that was a challenge for you, but also a huge celebration moment of your life too. So this song, actually, you should say that you chose for your celebratory song. whether it's in your personal or your work life. It's so beautiful. Again, it's another song was not familiar with, and I listened to it before we hopped on the interview. And I was even doing a little bit of reading about it because I was so curious. Who is
Mhm.
this artist?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but I'll let you talk about it first. So I'll play a snippet, Rose Bay. And again, I guess would he be considered a composer?
Yeah.
Is it Lovico?
I think I'm not sure. It's like Ludovico Einaudi.
Yeah, or is it Ludovico? But okay. Here, I'm gonna play a little snippet for everybody. And it's so soft and mm. I found it so interesting that you chose, this song for a celebratory anthem because when you think of that, you think of like the high energy, upbeat.
Yeah. Yeah,
When I listened to this, I was like, "Oh, this is a different spin on."
Yeah,
So I just pictured you, in a moment of that you're just being super, grateful and appreciative. Something amazing just happened to you, and you just wanted to take a moment, connect with your heart, your body and your soul, and then listen to this song. Your phones, and but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I just pictured that. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And then this is more of like just feeling like the deep gratitude.
Yeah, totally.
That's where it took me when I listened to it.
Yeah. It's so funny listening to that. I'm trying not to cry. I love that song.
Oh,
It's,
well, tears are welcome here on the podcast.
take a deep breath.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
The reason it's a celebratory song because it's just like it just feels like we got through the hard thing,
Mm-hmm.
It's and that's kind of just when it came to me in my life. The album came out pretty recently, and I work hard, and I pour myself so much into what I do, and it's like coming home to peace listening to that song. It's like we got through the workday, we got through the hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because being posed with like the celebration song, it's like, oh my gosh, we we won the race, and then you put on like a hype song.
Yeah.
This is like we got through the race, like let's get married, like that's what this song feels like to me. It's like it feels like
let's put our cozies on and
I'm a Taurus.
Tea and matcha.
Exactly. It's like it goes in a different energy instead of like let's pop champagne. It's like let's say job well done and put our toes in the pond and
just let yourself soak up in that glow, the afterglow of achieving something. And
it's very much just the hug.
The warm hug like Olaf.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's more the job well done instead of like, hell yeah, we did it.
Right. It comes with a different feeling and emotion, but the same, at the same time. But just like, I love that you chose that song. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna listen to the whole album.
Great album. That song just in particular though. And it's one of the reasons that song gravitates towards me is it's funny because I play it at our sound baths and I've had a couple times some people come up and say, is this you? Because it sounds, and that's one of the reasons it resonates so deeply with me. It sounds like me. It sounds like one of my songs. Very sustained, very simple, but effective piano movement. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this sounds like something I would write. And I'm glad I didn't because now I get to be with it in a different way,
Yeah. Oh my God. And I was reading too about the artist. A lot of his songs are used on soundtracks of movies.
Yeah. He's definitely got a great repertoire.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Deep breath. Oh, last question today to wrap up this interview is a surprise question. So this will be the first song that comes to your mind. This is a song. It could be any of the songs we discussed today or something new that would be the title song of the whole, your entire Soundtrack of Life album. What is a song that just makes your soul dance when you press play and let it all out?
I'm Blue by Eiffel 65.
What?
So I can't think of a song that even more so than Monosynth by Joy Electric. I was obsessed with Eiffel 65. The first time I heard that song, I could not stop playing it on repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again. Got the album over and over and over again. Got their next album over and over and over again. Knew all their birthdays, imported their third album because it only came out in Italy. And that song, that was one of the first times I heard European electronic pop. And that genre, I mean, the late 90s, early 2000s electronic pop stuff that you had going on. Serena Paris, DJ Sammy. I mean,
Alice DJ and Wigfield. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was just oh my gosh. I love that stuff. I mean, even getting into Aqua and Ace of Base, and.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Aqua and Ace of Base. Yeah.
I loved that stuff. And that song was just, it was this introduction to just being congratulations, you just found one of the deepest loves of your entire life. And it was just that was the face of it. And such an iconic song. A lot of people make fun of it, but I love that band. I love so many of their songs were ahead of their time. But anyways, coming out of that, that's the song. Blues also my color, etc. Whatever. So
well, we're gonna definitely listen to a little snippet of this. Oh my gosh. Well, and then of course, do you like the David Guetta remix of it that came out?
I'm a purist with that song.
Yeah,
anytime I hear people rip the melody or anything, I'm like, can't do that to this song. The song's great.
Yeah. I don't know why Spotify is giving me problems with certain songs.
Oh no.
Will doesn't like me. Okay, I'm gonna go to YouTube. Here we go. We'll play a little snippet. We'll send everybody off
with Eiffel 65.
With Eiffel 65 and Blue. We'll wait till the commercial stops on YouTube.
Blue Dabba D.
Yes.
So funny. They were trying to.
Oh wait, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say they were trying to replicate the Cher vocal effect, doing this chorus effect, but they couldn't do it, and they just ended up with this vocal effect, and it became iconic.
Oh, I love that. Little fun fact stories on the song. Oh, yeah. I had many dance parties in my bedroom to this song as well.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, good. Such a great dance tune. I mean, that straight bass line at the beginning.
And then I would mix this with, as a DJ, I would mix this with Venga Boys.
Oh, yes.
Remember Venga Boys?
Oh, cool. That's right into that genre we were just talking about.
And then maybe go into Sandstorm,
dude.
or
oh my
Daft
God.
Punk One More Time.
So I would have also I almost picked One More Time as my first song for this.
Oh, really? Yeah. God.
Oh my God. First time I heard that song, I was like, it was very similar to the first time I heard Eiffel 65. I was like, no way. I cannot believe this exists. This is my favorite thing I've ever heard in my life. I was 11. And
me too. When I first heard that song, I had the same reaction. I'm like, this song gives me life.
So good. Oh my God.
So good. Oh my gosh. Well, Jesse, this has been such a joy having you on the podcast and hearing about all of these songs that have shaped your life. How do you feel about your soundtrack of life, looking back and talking about all of these memories that were tied to all of these songs throughout your whole life?
You know, I'm coming back to giving myself time to be an artist in music, because music is my number one love. And just looking at all of these major moments that shifted around music in my life, I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, of course, it's always been music.
Oh,
I love it.
Well, I can't wait to see what else you have in store for your future.
Thank
I'm already
you.
a fan. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing your light with me today and sharing, yes, your stories and all of the good music and good vibes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dayna. I had so much fun. This was a real treat.
Good. Good. I'm glad. Okay. Well, then till next time, I'll see you
And
on the mat.
yes, yeah, I will see you soon at a sound bath. All right.
I hope you enjoyed that uplifting interview and the songs that created their personal soundtrack. Remember, every moment of your life has its own melody. Embrace it, feel it, and let it move you. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave me a review. Join me next time for more soulful stories, belly laughs, inspiring tunes, and a dose of high vibe vitamin D. Until then, shine bright and dance through your life to your very own soulful rhythm.